Tonight, Stormy Daniels trying to force President Trump to testify under oath. Daniels' lawyer has now filed a motion in federal court seeking to depose the president and his lawyer, Michael Cohen. The reason, they say, to find out whether the president was aware of the agreement and whether he agreed to it. Now, keep in mind, Cohen has admitted he paid Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet about her alleged affair with the president. The hearing date is now scheduled for April 30th. Out front tonight, David Schwartz, Michael Cohen's spokesman, also Cohen's attorney in another case. He has represented the Trump Organization in other matters as well. Okay, let's get straight to it. Is Michael Cohen going to sit down for a deposition?
He will. Well, he's not going to get to that point. Of course, if the court ordered him to, he would sit down for a deposition. But this case is completely frivolous, okay? The defamation case doesn't even come close to making out defamation. You have to prove that the statement is false. It's got to be, that's one of the elements. It's got to be a false statement. And when you look at the statement that he made, it's not even close on its face that it's a false statement. How could anyone assume that it's a false statement the way he worded that? So the judge will look at that right away and say it's not even close to being defamation on its face. That'll be thrown out.
But if it isn't, you're saying, and he is told to sit down, he will. He's not going to be in contempt. He'll go sit down.
Of course he will, but he won't have to in that case.
Now, the question is, though, Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, is saying, look, ordinarily you'd get 7+ hours for this. I'm not asking for that. Right. I'm asking for 2 hours. Right. Because I want to get straight to it. I'm not asking about other women. I'm asking about this case. Right? He's being very specific, listing out his questions. Why not do it? If there's nothing to hide, why not come out and do it under oath?
It's so reasonable. So he wants to depose the president. Yeah, everybody could just get a chance to depose the president. So he wants to depose the president for 2 hours. Look.
There is a precedent, by the way, for the president to be deposed in Paula Jones.
Of course there is.
It's mentioned in this filing.
And he may be deposed in other cases. I'm not saying he won't be. But in this particular case, if you have, they're seeking a declaratory judgment. So now you have the defamation. We just covered that. Now you have the declaratory judgment. The declaratory, this is an iron, solid contract. It is a contract. She signed the contract. She received the benefit of the contract. It was signed by the other party.
Meaning she received $130,000.
Absolutely. And EC LLC signed on the other side. So the judge is going to be able to look at this contract and say, what are we talking about here? You had an attorney present also. The attorney negotiated it.
There are some crucial issues here, aside from whether or not they had all the details about the sex she's talked about that night, okay? Because in a sense, you might almost say that's separate from the issue. The issue is she was paid $130,000 days before the election. Was it done to influence the election, and did the president know about it? And that's what Avenatti is saying that he wants to get to the bottom of in this filing, right? And Sarah Sanders, the president's press secretary, was asked specifically about this today. Did the president know about the $130,000? Did he know that it was even possible? Did he know about the non-disclosure agreement itself? And here's how that exchange went down.
You haven't answered the substantive question about whether the president was aware of the $130,000 payment that was made under an agreement in which he is explicitly named to keep Stormy Daniels silent. Can you answer that question? You were asked 3 weeks ago today and said you weren't aware. Are you aware now?
Look, the president has denied the allegations. We've spoken about this issue extensively, and I don't have anything else to add beyond that. Anything beyond that, I would refer you to the outside counsel.
Okay, it seems like a simple question, and you are Cohen's spokesperson in this. So can you say unequivocally that the president was never in any way aware of the $130,000 of the agreement itself?
The president was not aware of the agreement. At least Michael Cohen never told him about the agreement. I can tell you that. And you asked a whole bunch of questions, so let me cover that. So you asked about 12 days before.
Not aware about the agreement. What about the money?
He was not aware about any of it. He was not aware. He wasn't told about it. Michael Cohen left the option open. That's why he left that signature line. The option open to go to him. He chose not to. He chose to bind the LLC, EC LLC, and Stormy Daniels entered into the contract. Now you ask why people are scratching their head. Why 12 days before? Because that's when the attorney approached Michael Cohen. The other Stormy Daniels' attorney approached Michael Cohen.
Well, maybe she thought her story was very valuable coming into the election.
Well, she admitted that on 60 Minutes,
But if you're going to pay her off $130,000 right before the election, aren't you doing it to influence the election?
No.
Isn't that then definitional, which is a violation of the law?
Absolutely not. That's all speculative. That's speculation. That's guesswork. okay? The bottom line is...
Then why pay it at all if you don't care what she's going to say?
All right, Erin, so this is done every single day in this country. You pay it off to avoid litigation, you pay it off to protect family, you pay it off to protect business, and you pay it off to protect reputation. That's what's done. Politicians enter into these,
so
TV personalities, business people.
Right. I understand what you're saying. To a layperson, it's like, why would you do it unless you're lying? You're right. A lot of people do it.
By the way, this has nothing to do with Avenatti. Why is this even in Avenatti's papers? The federal election case, that's for the Federal Election Commission. It has nothing to do with this.
But here's what I do think is important. Right. It would be unethical, lawyers would say, for a lawyer, Michael Cohen, to go into an agreement, non-disclosure agreement, and pay off a porn star $130,000 without telling his client about it. That would be an unethical thing to do. So here's my question. If he didn't tell the president, who was not the president at the time, he could be disbarred. My question to you is very simple.
I don't accept that.
Okay. But if he has to choose eventually between the president lying for him and himself, who's he going to choose?
I don't even understand. Let me just break that down. The bottom line is, you know, he's going to tell the truth as to what took place. Right. And what took place is very clear. Okay, the other lawyer approached him. It happened to have coincided with the election. She admitted on 60 Minutes she was shopping the case around. She admits that, okay?
But why
she was
wouldn't he tell his client?
Offers.
Can you answer to me why he wouldn't have told his client that he's paying $130,000 to a porn star?
His client is ECLLC under the agreement. That is the binding party. Donald Trump in this agreement, he's a third-party beneficiary. I know you're smiling at me, but these are legal concepts.
I understand
these
they're
are legal concepts.
Yes.
He is a third-party beneficiary. He didn't have an obligation, and if you understand, and you do somewhat, if you understand the structure of the Trump war and Michael Cohen's role in there, it was much more than attorney and client.
I understand very well what Cohen's role was. He was very close to the president. It makes it even harder for me to imagine that he wouldn't have told the president because I do know about Michael's role.
Right, because he's that close to him, he had great latitude to handle these matters. Great latitude.
So they happened with such frequency that you wouldn't need to tell him about a $130,000 payment?
Look, Michael was the fixer. We all know Michael. So it could be anything. It's not that this matter. There were a ton of matters that took place that Michael fixed. And Donald Trump wasn't involved in every single matter, all right? And the other reason why we know, there was a line there, right, for DD, all right? It was blank.
David Dennison.
It was blank, right? And that's evidence in and of itself that he didn't go to Donald Trump because the line was blank. He left the line blank.
Understood, but I'm just making a point. You wouldn't go to him only if it happens so frequently that you wouldn't need to. It's sort of when these things come along, you take care of it.
Yeah, but you're...
Right? You understand where I'm coming, right?
The insinuation it's some sort of sexual in nature. It could be any business problem.
Yes.
And believe me, Michael Cohen got calls at 3 in the morning. Michael and I would be at dinner. The boss would be calling him all the time.
I'm sure.
So there were always problems. In any business, there's always problems.
All right. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. Good to see you. And we'll be talking to you again as this continues. And next, are the allegations raised by Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal